This channel is a member of the Astral Stars, which means we have a zero-tolerance policy against the harassment of others. Anybody who violates that policy will be banned. For further information, please visit www.theastralstars.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Sylvia from Form Prints. Welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Make sure to check out my channel by clicking on the link in the description below. Hope you enjoy your video.
Yeah, check that intro out. Can you dig it? Alright, check it out, guys. Girls, today, oh yeah, if you want us to showcase your channel, check out the description below and click that link for the rules and regulations. Alright, today we got a 2006 Chevy Impala. And what I'm going to show you in this video is how to replace the left front hub bearing, hub assembly, bearing, wheel bearing, whatever you want to call it, as long as it's a bearing. Alright, so let's get this car jacked up, get it up on jack stands, and get this taken care of. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we got the car jacked up, got it up on a jack stand, and I'm leaving my jack there just in case. It is windy out here. Now check this out. Now if you are following our channel, you'll notice we checked this out last time before, and this thing was kind of bad, but check this out now. Something fell out of there, I don't know what the heck. Alright, so first thing we do, let's take off this wheel. We got 5 19mm or 3/4 inch sockets. I'm gonna use a 19mm deep, 1/2 inch drive. Buzz this off because what I want to take a look at, see if these brakes are still good. If not, we're gonna be replacing these brakes as well. And from the way that rotor looks, I don't know. Still got some brake pad left to it, but wow, that's messed up. Alright, guys, the next thing I want to do is I want to turn the wheel all the way to the right because I want to take out this outer tie rod just from the knuckle, just from the spindle, so we can move this around easily. And I want to get a socket to take this off, and we remove our caliper and everything else off. So let me get my tool set up and I'll be right back. Alright guys, the first thing we're going to do, let's get this nut off right here. This is a 33mm, and what I'm using is my 33mm deep impact 1/2 inch drive. Definitely want to use some air tools on this. You'd be there forever doing it by hand. See that? Quickity quick lickety split. I like that. I'm gonna start saying that. Okay. Alright, we're gonna set that down to the side. The next thing we're gonna do is grab us a pair of wire cutters. Yeah. And over here on the outer tie rod, there's a cotter pin. And what you want to do is bend those tabs straight out. Then you want to pull it from the other side. Just grab onto it with your needle nose, with your cutters, and pull that right out, just like that. You're going to get a new one. Just set that to the side for now. The next thing you want to do is take off the nut right here. That's called a castle nut. I'm going to show you why, because it looks like a castle. And okay, that's an 18mm. I'm using an 18mm deep, 1/2 inch drive impact. We'll buzz that off real quick. Alright, and it's got a washer, and they're called the castle nut because if you look at it from a flat angle, if it was flat, it looks just like a castle. That's why they call it that. And the reason why it's made like that is so you can put the cotter pin, when that bolt goes up there, there's a hole inside the tie rod that it goes right in there, so that nut will never loosen up, because if that thing comes out, you're losing all steering on this wheel. The next thing we're going to do is we got to pop this out. Nope, that won't come out. So what you got to do is call a process called shock and awe. Here's the spindle right here. You want to shock this part of the spindle. Be careful, do not hit the threads on the tie rod. You want to hit right there on the spindle only. Get you a nice sized mallet. You want to time this right And it pops out. It took a little bit, but it came out. There you go. Do not want to mess up those threading. And there's the hole I was telling you about right in the center of it. So when the nut goes on there, you got to line that nut up. Line one of the grooves in the nut with that, and the cotter pin goes through it all. All right, that's cool. We got that out of the way. See, now we can move this around any way we want. This thing is shot, really shot. All right, the next thing you do, let's turn the wheel all the way to the left. And on the back of here, we're going to take off our caliper now. And our caliper, it looks like it's held on, it's a 13 millimeter. Yeah, two 13 millimeter bolts. You know what I'm going to do here is get my 13 millimeter 3/8 drive for my 3/8 drive ratchet. Pop them loose. Now sometimes the slider might spin, but it's okay. You just hold it in place. It'll be good. All right, get them two bolts out of there. Both bolts are the same length, so you don't have to worry about anything. Now this is where you're going to get a wire tie, a tie strap, piece of wire, a hanger. I don't care what you get. Take the caliper off. Yeah, these brake pads are no good. We're going to have to get us another. Look at this, man. It just messed those brake pads up. We're going to have to get us another set of brake pads. So what we're going to do here is take it. Wire, if you got wire, it'd be a lot better. And because you don't want this caliper to hang down by the hose, because you might mess the hose up. So then you want to bring it up here to the spring. Wrap it around. Just keep it up in the air.
Like you just don't care.
Oh, and when I say lickety split and all that, you look at me say like I'm corny and all.
I never said
yeah, right.
corny.
That don't make no sense. All right, so we're gonna tie that up. All right, we're looking good. The next thing we're gonna do here is our caliper bracket. We gotta get this caliper bracket off. And hey, look at these things, man. All this whole thing all messed up. All right, and it looks like you got two sides of these 15s. All right, we got two 15 millimeter bolts. And what I'm gonna use here, because, well, I guess I can get it in there, but I like this little tool right here. This is a wobble socket. You see how the edge of it made? So when I put a socket on it, a wobble extension, it can wobble and get into tight spaces. So we got two 15 millimeter bolts. Use my deep 15 millimeter 1/2-inch drive. Both bolts are the same length, so we're good to go. The thing comes off, just so we don't lose our bolts. Just put them back into place right here. Whoops, wrong place. All right, let's put that down. The next thing we're gonna do, we gotta turn back now, and now we gotta remove the rotor. But in order to remove the rotor, we have a little Torx, like I believe it's a T30 Torx that we gotta take out to get this rotor off. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. We got a T30 Torx screw right there. So I got my T30 1/4-inch drive, got me a little extension, and my 1/4-inch drive ratchet. I'm gonna go in here and loosen that up. Take that screw out of there. And you can see our rotor already coming off of there. All right, so let's take that off. This rotor looks kind of shiny. All right, we are looking great. Look at that. We are down to the hub already. We are down there. This video is saving you a lot of money. All right, so now let's see which way we're gonna turn this. Yeah, here we go. Now, in the back of this hub assembly, there's gonna be 3 bolts holding it in. Here go the edges of the bolts. 1, 2, and number 3. So now we go to the back of the hub, and there's 1 bolt right there, and I can see one on the other side. So let's try to get this one over here. And let's see what sizes those are. So 13 or what? Yes, it is. It's a 13 millimeter, and I'm right up against that axle, man. So what we might have to do, let's see if we can push this axle back some. which we can't. It's probably messed up on that bearing, but we can get in there with it. Let's put our socket on it, on the bolt. It's kind of at an angle here. You know, it's on that clamp. Let's try to turn this a little bit. Wow, man, this thing sucks. I'm gonna get that anyway. All right. Let's get that socket up there. Use a 13mm deep half-inch drive. Let's buzz that one bolt out of there. Okay, that's one. Let's go over here to the other side. Turn the wheel all the way to the left. And we got one bolt. Whoops. We got one bolt right there. Let's get our socket. Where did I put my socket at? Don't you hate when you put down something? Did that thing roll up under the car or something? You put down something and it just disappears on you, like out of nowhere. You have no idea where it goes. I got the 15. You're kidding me, man. All right, so let's go over here and there's the other bolt right there. Let's get that one out. Okay, that's two. Now for the top one, that one's in there. So what we need to do is back this axle up, which might be a little bit of issue here. So if you have to do that, like that now, usually you're supposed to be able to push it in and it goes, but this one ain't. So we're gonna put the nut back on it. And we're gonna carefully take our hammer and hit the center. Back that axle right up out of there. Look at the bearings come out of his thing. Dang it, man. Out of the way. So hopefully we can get in there. Where's our 13mm this time? I'm trying to get our 13mm right in there to that top bolt. There it is right there. Got that in there. Look at that. Let's get our gun. Whoops. Now see, I'm at an angle right here. I'm hitting up against the strut. That's where that nice little wobble socket comes in at. Look at that. All right. There we go. Look at that thing, man. All right, 3 bolts. 3 bolts are the same length. So you don't have to worry about it. Look at this mess right here. Let's see if our hub assembly will come off. And of course it won't come off. It's gonna give me a hard time. This one, oh, let's take off our nut right here. You ain't gonna pull it off with the nut up there. All right, now the next thing we gotta do is get the other piece off. Now this piece is gonna come off. You see, it's already separating. So we might let's get us a little screwdriver so we can just pry up on it just a little bit till it pops up out of there. Dang it! Look at this. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Check this out. I got me 2 little screwdrivers, and I want to just go around and work this bearing out of here. Look at that. Look at this mess right here. Alright, I'm gonna get me a box or something and get something up in here and clean all this mess out. Wow. This thing is really, she got her money's worth on this one. Alright, be right back. Alright guys, check it out. I cleaned some of it out, but we still got that rest of the bearing in there. So what I'm gonna do is take me a chisel and a hammer And I'm gonna go from the back and dang it, this wind. Let's see if we can tap this out. Turn it around to this side. Go. There we go. Throw that in the box. All right, let's get our new bearing and set that in there. We'll be right back. All right, let's get our new bearing. And what we're gonna do, you know, better yet, guys, let's put a little grease on here, right here. So let me go get a little lithium grease and I'll be right back. All right, guys, before we start, because sometimes the axle do get seized up inside the bearing, especially if you're living in a climate with a lot of rust and salt and all that. So you definitely want to take some anti-seize. Just put it on the threads, on the splines, so that way you never have to worry about when you take it apart again. All right, the next thing we're going to do is grab our little backing plate, and our backing plate will go just like this. So we're going to make sure that stays lined up. Let's get our new hub assembly. Put it on, and you want to make sure the splines, the axle is going in there. You might have to turn that a little bit. There we go, just like that. Push it back. Great. The next thing we're going to do is take our 3 bolts, turn our wheel all the way to the left, go towards the back. I'm gonna have to back our axle up. Get a bolt in there. Start it by hand. Great. The top one, and that one's way back there, and you definitely got to hold that axle back. Let me get back here. Let's see where this is. There we go. All right. Start that by hand. You can see the bolt come right through here. It's difficult for me to get in there and turn it, so what I'm going to do here is use my 13mm, the one we had before. Get back there and tighten it up by hand a little bit. You know what, that thing is still. There we go. All right, got that turning by hand a little bit. Now we're going to turn our wheel all the way to the right and get our last bolt. And that bolt is going to go right in back of here. You can see our axle's in the way a little bit. So we're going to just move back our axle up a little bit just to get that bolt in there and get that started. All right, let's get that started and get them all a little more by hand, and we'll be right back. All right, we got all 3 bolts started by hand, going in about 3 or 4 threads. You want to make sure you do that so you don't cross thread. Next thing we do is take my wobble extension with my deep 13mm socket, and I'm gonna go ahead and start tightening them up. Now the one on the top, remember we gotta push that axle. You gotta push this axle in so you can get in there and gain that clearance in there. There we go. I'm gonna hold it in there, tighten that one up. Great. Gonna turn the wheel. Get our last bolt over here. Great. That is looking perfect. All right, the next thing we're going to do is take our center nut, 33mm. Got about 33mm deep, 1/2 inch drive. We're going to just whale it down. Perfect. Look at that. All right, the next thing we're going to do, we're not going to put our tie rod on yet. We're going to go back to this side. Then we're going to grab our rotor. Now your rotor, remember you got these little slots right here where the little bolt goes, the torque T30 Torx to hold it on. You really don't got to put that on, guys. You really do not have to put that back on. All right. So I'm gonna set it up there. Now I'm gonna set it back up there because it's gonna be easy for me to put the brakes on, but you do not, definitely, you don't have to do that. All right. So let's just bring that in. And remember, that's a T30 Torx. And I'm gonna sit here and tighten it up a little bit. Snug it up. Don't have to be tight at all. Great. The next thing we're gonna do, we got new brake pads coming down. Take our old brake pad out. Take our 2 bolts out of the caliper bracket. Set it down. Now the bracket's gonna go, the bolt's gonna go through these holes right here on the spindle. Put them down. Again, start it by hand, about 3 or 4 threads. Make sure you don't cross thread it. All right, get the other one in there. Great. And those are at 15 millimeter. I'm using my 15 millimeter deep impact with my same wobble socket because I love it. Socket, man. All right, let's go over here. Let's tighten those 2 up. Cool. Great. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to unhook our caliper. And we're going to get us a pair of, C-clamps. We're going to lay that right there. Take one of our old brake pads. And what we got to do is push these pistons back before we put, because they won't go on, the caliper won't go on with the new brake pads there. So we're going to set it like this. And one important thing now, we got to take the cap to the master cylinder off. All right, so I'm going to get that, pop the hood, take that off, and I'm going to tell you why. Be right back. All right, first thing we're going to do is take the cap off to the master cylinder and put that to the side. The reason why I'm doing that is because sometimes some cars are made with one-way valves on the master cylinders that if you push it back with that cap on it, you will mess that master cylinder up. You go to stop, you got no brakes. All right, now.
So do you take the cap off for every car?
Yeah, just to be sure, you take them off on every car. Better safe than sorry. You ain't got time to be calling me and trying to come some different town or different state. All right, so now we're going to take our C-clamp and we definitely want to push up against an old brake pad or something. And you want to squeeze that down slowly because as you're squeezing it down, the fluid in the master cylinder is backing up. Now this is a dual piston caliper and you notice this one over here is still out. A lot of times you can squeeze this one tight enough where it will start to bring in the other one, just like that. So you ain't got to switch the vice grip, the C-clamp to the other side. There we go. Done. Back. Now we just wait for the new brake pads to arrive. Be right back. All right, guys, we got our new brake pads. The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna make this a little easy for us. Take us some lubricant here. This is to help the brake pads slide a little better. And you want to apply some right there, right there. This is the points where the brake pads actually touch. Well, not the pads itself, but the outside part. Put them in there like that. Put that to the side. Let's take our screwdriver, pop the old ones off. These things all messed up, bent up out of place and everything. Take them off. Let's take our new ones, slide them down, pop them into place. Done. Take the upper one, turn it upside down, put it up into there, pop them up into place, something right here. All right, it's up there. It's up there. All right, so let's get our brake pads and we'll be right back. All right, here's our new brake pads. You want to get brake pads that has that anti-squeal shim on the back because, and it actually says silent stop. No, that's just the name of the brand. But you want to do that because if not, if you just put it with metal up against the caliper, it's a good chance that they're going to start squealing. I'm gonna set this one in here, and then what I'm gonna do is show you the other one, the outside, because it's easier to show you how they set in there. Okay, let me show you on this side right here. Now, you got these two parts of the brake pad. They set in that groove and in that groove. So what we do is go to the top, put that up there like that, and then the bottom one. Whoops, dang it. Go for the bottom one first. Squeeze that in there, just like that, and that's how it goes. The next thing we're gonna do is the easy part. But before we do that, you got our sliders over here. You wanna make sure, see how that moves? You wanna make sure they move, because if they're seized up and not moving, you gotta take those out and clean those and put the grease on them, because that's gonna mess up your brakes also. All right, let's take our caliper. Slowly set it over the brake pads. In there, get our two 13mm bolts. Start them off by hand by about 3 or 4 threads so they're not cross-threaded. Top one. There's the bottom one. Looking good. Let's tighten those up. 13mm, 3/8 drive, shallow socket. Let's tighten those up. And to tighten these up, what you want to do is go ahead till it stops, and then just a little bit more. Snug it nice and tight. Let's get this one done, and we'll be right back. All right, we're down to the last thing, the outer tie rod. Let's turn our wheel. Bring our outer tie rod down into the spindle. And this had a washer on it, so we're gonna put that washer right back up there. Put the washer on it, put our 18mm nut, and remember how I said we gotta tighten that up till the one of those slots line up. So I'm using my 18mm deep, and I'm gonna go over here and yeah, I'm good. All right, we got it lined up perfectly. So we got a brand new cotter pin. Stick our cotter pin. You know what? Let's go through the other way. Stick our cotter pin through it. Take the cotter pin, open it up, just like that. Done. That'll stop that castle nut from coming off. All right, we are good to go. We'll be right back. All right, guys, let's put the tire on. I told the customer she needs tires, man. Need some tires. Bad.
I told her a few times.
Yeah. All right. Let's get our lugs on. Now, when you tighten up lugs on a tire, you want to make sure you go on a cross pattern, just in case so the wheel don't tighten up crooked. Then you're going on the street looking crazy. So what you want to do is you bring in one, just to get that situated, settled. And now you want to start going through a cross pattern, like a star. 1, 2, skip. 3, skip. 4, skip. Number 5, done. Look at that. They ain't going nowhere. Yeah. We are good. All right, we are good to go. The next thing we're going to do, the last thing, put our cap to the master cylinder back on. And now we got to pump the brake pedal up, because if we step on the brakes right now, the brake pedal is going to go right to the floor, and you're going to go through somebody's house. So you got to pump the brake pedal up, and you'll be done. We'll be right back.
All right, so that's how you change the hub assembly on a 2006 Chevy Impala with 3.5. So if you guys have any comments or questions, you can post them below in the comment section, or you can email Timmy at tim@astralautorepairs.com. You know, I have to say something.
What?
I'm sorry, I got to vent about something, okay?
Uh-oh.
If you don't watch the whole video, don't make a comment about what we need to do. Because
that's my vent too.
You know, we did it in the video, but yet we get comment, oh, you should have done this.
Hey, forget it. I'll go ahead and say it then. Check it out. Check it out. This guy, we just did the spark plug on the 2005 Nissan Pathfinder. And you guys who paid attention to the video saw, and Bats complain about this too, that people don't watch, skip through the video and miss things. You know, you saw.
And then they ask them, oh, did you ever see this or did you ever see that?
Yeah, you know, we put anti-seize on all the spark plugs. So the guys will make a comment about we should do that. And
we really should lubricate them because we could damage them.
Like, we did
watch
that.
The video.
Did you watch the video? What the heck? The problem with I should have banned them.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna get
We might still do that.
What the heck? Watch the video before you make a comment. All right.
Right. So, or don't make a comment if you don't want to watch the whole video.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so this is Sylvia from Actual Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. See you next time.